Okay, to start, we can get some dimensions off of this. You could either go to dimension and you could label them. I'm just going to show you a quick technique. If I put my cursor using snap to all on the position that I want to get the dimension, I left mouse click. Now it would be different when you're building a path. You want to right click twice. So when I left mouse click, it's telling me that that location was -5.5 and the X is at 5 inches. So now I'm going to build a work step, and the first thing we're going to do is face. You could use profile or new face profile, either one will work. So we're going to call that a face. Select your tool. You can change your insert on the fly. You have your offset number for comp and your Z index, X index. You can put that into a safe zone when doing tool changes. Now the offset direction, when I start up here and I come down to center, I want my tool on the left side, so that's correct. If you want a finish allowance, now let's say I want a couple passes on the face, you can use this thing called total stock. We'll put 05 for stock, and our depth will go with 2.5. Or if I want to do passes, I could go 0.05 divided by 3 passes, and it updates for me. You see you have RPM, constant surface speed, whether that's on or off. Now if the spindle needs to run in a reverse direction, let's say your constant surface speed would be a negative value. So the spindle runs in MO4. Units per minute, I want units per rev. And I'm going to hit the save as default button, so it'll always come up with save as units per rev. Okay, that takes care of that. After you make your operation, you go to your path. And I'm just going to use a linear move. It's a straight line. We're going to go with an X of 5 inches, Z right off the face, enter. So there's my first position. Now, I didn't have to go 5 1/4, whatever. In the operation, I can set it for a clear point. Let me show you how that works. So your clearance is 100 thousandths. So it'll start. You can start straight up here off the OD. So your engage angle instead of 90 would be 0. Now let's verify that. And you can see we get the multiple passes. Now, let's say you wanted to verify that in 3D simulation. An error code comes up. That's because the stock wasn't defined. CAD-CAM will automatically size up your stock based on your paths. So if I didn't have a path going right to left, then it doesn't know how long the stock is or how big it is. So you can define that. Go to help. You have 3D simulation stock curve. Ask you a couple basic questions. If it's a cylinder and Z cylinder, overlap would be for like a well, actually you could, like we have maybe, what did we put, 50 thousandths. The length of the part and the diameter in the front, the diameter was 5 inches. So I'm just going to change that up 5 inches. And then I'm going to hide the stock curve. If I don't, now you can see it gives you a view of your stock, and that just kind of obstructs the view for curves. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to turn that off, hide stock curve, and now I'm ready to build the rest of it. So now I go back to work step, heavy thick yellow region, turn, so it knows it's going to be on the right side. Same with the bore, it would know it would be on the left side. So we're going to go new turn. Probably defaulted to the same tool. It did. You could change the insert and call that tool 2, offset 2. We'll leave 5 thousandths on the Z, that's the face, and then we'll leave 10 thousandths on the X. Your Z finish allowance is probably going to be lighter than your X allowance because you have the leading edge of the insert. If you went into it with 10,000, well, actually that would have worked. Maybe on a finish pass, 10 thousandths is kind of heavy. Let's see. So Now if I look at the withdraw angle at 45, as you can see as you go through your path, so as I go through my path and come up to the OD, 45 degrees is back into the part. So we want 90 or greater. So let's change that to maybe 120. Path, we'll use chain, and I'm going to pick. Don't pick the middle and don't pick the intersection point here. So we're going to pick right over here. That knows it's going to flow through the middle, go to the end, and carry on up to that point there. Verify. Yeah, my 120 might be a little excessive. We'll just shoot in there with 90. Now our 3D preview. The preview can be adjusted as it's playing. You can hit 0 through 9 on your keyboard, and that'll slow the speed down. 0, you would hit enter, enter, enter to go step mode. Now let's say we finish this profile. We can go to work step, new profile. And we want that on the right. Take off our finish allowance. Our engage angle would be 0. Withdraw angle 90 is good. Let's get rid of our depth of cut, total stock. Now I can make a new path and jump over the groove area. But I can also copy path. Rather than recreate it, if there was a lot of work that you've done, you could just hit copy path, and we're going to copy the rough turn operation. So that automatically generate or copied the previous path, and there we have it. If you want, you could go to work step, define path, modify links, and move a point. Move that up here. And notice, because it was a copy of the path, now my finished path, it's not plunging into the groove. Now if we want to show the tool insert, next we'll go to a grooving operation. Start off, always start with the tool info tab, just gives it kind of a flow. So we're going to go in to select the tool, grooving tool. Now you can go to the tool library and I can build and add. I can make a new tool. So I'm going to call this Chris Groove. And I'll make the groove tool number 2, offset 2. Tool angle would be 90 degrees. Tip radius, let's go with 30 thousandths. The program point would be negative 30 and negative 30 over here. Now if that was a boring tool, it would be facing the opposite direction. The only thing that changes is my X program point, because from the center here we're going upward. Right now the X program point is starting in the center and it's going in a negative X direction. This is where you would kiss off your part. Close, save the library, yes, and we'll pick this tool, double click on it. Let's see, the width is a little heavy. Let's go in and modify that tool library. Find Chris's groove. I want 125 width, and it could go 2 inches, whatever you need, because I know that that's going to be like a cutoff bar. Close, close. Did I add it? There. Now I take my path. Now I could blank these paths so I can see exactly what's fresh, but I know what I'm doing. So we're going to go linear, start here, come around. Alright, that tells me my step over is too small. And for a step over, I want like 80%. That makes a little more sense. Now we're going to drill. I'm going to put my cursor here, left mouse click. That X position is 1 inch, so I'm going to go in with a 3/4 inch drill. And let's see, the back, click here, it's 1 3/4 deep, so I'll go about 2 inches on that. So work step drill, 0.75 drill. Tool info to start with. Change this to a drill. Tool number 3, offset 3, included angle 118 degrees, drill diameter 0.75. These program points could be on the tip of the tool, 0, 0. Depth of cut, going 2 inches deep. Our first step, let's go with 0.75, and we'll take 250 cents. Now we need a path, so we're going to go path, rapid move, right to the beginning. It can be rapid or linear. It doesn't matter. We're just making a point. And there we have it. Okay, next we're going to rough bore. I think that's tool 4. No worries, because I can check in my spreadsheet to make sure I got my tool number and offset number correctly. So see, our X program point's a positive because we're looking on the center of the tool. Click on the field, and it's saying what direction are you going in from the center of the radius to where you kiss the part and touch off or get your dimensions from. Your depth of cut, how much you're going to take until you get up to the wall. Now we make our path from here to here and verify. Okay, now on center we had a drill, we had a 3/4 inch drill through here, so I want to tell it to machine from that diameter. So I just double click on my rough bore, and you have a stock curve, stock boundary. So we're going to go manual. I always like to hit the calculate button to make sure that the proper values are shown. Now the inner diameter is going to be the drill size, 0.75. Modifies the path, working in that area. So we can go in with a new profile, finish 4, same tool, and now our direction, we start here and go down. I want the tool on the left side. And my path, I'm just going to copy, finish rough bore. And again, I can stop it from going all the way through. I would have to modify the curve in this case. So we're going to go with path. Let's hide all the others. We'll blank. We'll go and hide all of those paths. So now I'm focusing in strictly on my finished bore. So I'm going to go back to path. And this is the last link, so I'm going to delete last. Go back to linear. Right mouse click twice on that point. It just enters the coordinates. And my X, we're coming down to 0.75. Enter. Now on any of your paths, at the end of the path, you can force it to tell it where to wrap it out of the bore. So I'm just going to use screen grab, tell it to rapid the tool out here, and verify. So now my tool gets to the end. and Rapid's clear where I've told it. And that's a summary. We'll go back to unblank, and we're going to unblank all. Then if you want to see a 3/4 view, what you've cut, go to Post, Stock Setup, check the 3/4 view, verify again. One last thing I'd like to share. Let's go to Setup, and blank verify is active. Okay. I'm going to go Edit blank, and we're going to go in. Lost the train of thought. Bear with me. Let's go in and make a threading pass. Work step, thread. Pick your tool first. Thread. Select. Tool 6. Offset 6. You can either tell it a fixed, you're going to say 3 steps, and then the tool goes 3 steps to depth. Calculate, it's going to look at your first step, second step, minimum step, and if you use spring passes, it's once it gets down to its finished depth, it just goes through and takes another cut through the finished depth. And for threading, you're going to turn off your constant surface feed and assign an RPM. Then you make your path. We want to thread from, change it to snap to all. We're going to thread from the start of the face and come back to the end where the groove starts. I forgot to put in the details. The lead, let's say we go 1, divide that by 13 threads per inch. That gives us our lead. It gave us our depth. And the depth you might have to adjust. It's based on the lead times 0.65. It's going to probably be real close to what you need. Step 2. Check your engage angles and depth. Go back in here. Gauge angle should be 90 degrees. Verify. Okay, let's focus on that thread. And now I violated the wall over here. So go back into the thread, change your end clearance, and we're going to change that to 1/8 of an inch. And we're in good shape. Now that spreadsheet I was telling you about, down at the bottom you can see your cursor changes to an arrow. Drag that right up there. Our face, our rough, and our finish. Those 3 use tool 1, offset 1. The grooving tool uses tool 2. Drill, rough bore for 2. And my thread, we can change that to tool number 5. Just do that right here in the spreadsheet. And it adjusts if I go on the thread operation. Tool 5, offset 5. The spreadsheet can be printed. The order of operations can be changed. So I select, right mouse click, cut the work step out of its position, and paste it. Now you can move the order around just going over here. Click on face, use your right arrow key. We use left and right arrow keys to move things around. And it automatically adjusts. Now let's say I don't want the facing operation. Maybe I did that manually. Right mouse click on face, and there you go, it's taken out of the equation. Go to post, select your post. I emailed you the post. They can be any directory that you want. You can put it in the CAD-CAM W folder on your C drive, wherever you want to store your post. And then you pick the location where you're saving it to. I gotta use my desktop. Simple turn part, text, and post. Ask for a number. Now if this is the Haas post, I think it's looking for 5 digits. The Haas looks for 5. The Mori looks for 4. So that should be 4. Whoop, take that out 4 places. This post happens to give you a comment for where the step is located in the program. And that completes the video.